So for my gym summative, Jane and I were placed together, and we chose to do soccer. So we picked the sport uh, mainly because we played it and we were both proficient in soccer. We played at rep level, so we thought that it would be helpful for us to know the sport to be able to coach it better. And we were also with Miss Cohen's middle gym class rather than the soccer team, which came into effect. And from playing and then coaching, I realized that there is a vast difference between the two things, and there are various different skill sets. So, although I have coached a soccer team before for 2 years, like a U10, U11 team, different both years, but at the Oakville Soccer Club. And so, although I did that, I still learned many new things from what I learned here. So, firstly, I came to realize that your coaching style has to vary depending on the group you're with, and even if it's the same sport, it can uh, be very different among different groups of people. So, for example, you're not gonna have a NFL football team coach the same way as a grade 7 soccer team. So, at the beginning of our session, I uh, went on with how I coached like the U11, U10 boys who were really into soccer, and I immediately realized that this wasn't gonna work with these girls. And some of them, they like to talk more. They aren't as engaged as they, since it's a gym class. They aren't like as active. So um, I immediately realized that I couldn't do the same thing I had to, and I had to alter what I was doing in order to appeal to the girls and get them engaged and make them actually follow what we were doing. Um, and I had to really work on my communication with the girls through that. I also learned that I had to be very patient and accepting with the girls. For example, we had a concrete plan going into the session, and we hoped that we could stick to this plan because it would be easiest for us. But unfortunately, um, certain instances caused us to derail from that plan. So in order to compensate for this, we would have to be um, super prepared and well equipped um, with backup plans. But this is something we could have improved on since we weren't as prepared as we could have been. Because if we were more prepared, we could and had a plan B and a plan C to fall back on. It would have made it a lot easier on us. So along with that, there were some challenges. So the first one we faced um, was through the entirety thing was a couple of girls, like a group of two or three, didn't want to participate the whole time. So they would sit off the side and not engage at all. And so to combat this challenge, really, we would, or me and JJ or I would go over to them and like try to appeal to what they wanted to. So like they just didn't think they were good at soccer, so we tried to do drills that maybe they could didn't involve soccer that much, like a tag thing or like something like that, so they could really get into it. And we would just ask them how to modify what we were doing that would fit their needs and the rest of the class, so that they would be involved and everyone could be in an engaged group. Um, and then arguably the greatest challenge we faced throughout this is like within the first 10 minutes, there's an unexpected injury. One of the girls, we were just playing keep away, and one of the girls fell and dislocated her kneecap or along those lines. So she was calm, which was great, wasn't crying or anything, but she was on the floor. So we got care, and this kind of, and we had to call an ambulance, but this kind of got all the girls a little wary of like what's gonna happen. So they didn't know what to do. So we had to pull them. This had to modify our thing because she fell right in front of the net and she had to stay there since she couldn't move, and we wanted to use the net. So that impacted us, but we worked around it by moving our area and adjusting our session so that she, so that all the girls would be more engaged with us and not worrying about her. So we made it more of a fun environment, and then we also moved it away. We had to alter what we were doing based on the location we were in regards to the field. Um, so what the skills that I learned from this are going to go a long way, and I'm going to use them in the future. So not just with coaching, which I will, because I continue to coach for the soccer club, but it will help me overall in like future school endeavors, university, job interviews, things like that, or even job placements. Since I'll be able to, I gained a great deal of experience in those areas, and I'll be able to speak to these and be able to use these since that's made me a formidable like leader in that sense, be able to like coach people through what to do, and like through communication, patience, communication and problem solving, I've gained more knowledge in these skills and put in a real life example where I can utilize them. Um, so I have a background in soccer, and this will also allow me to build upon my newfound skills. And so if I was going to coach in the future, it would still continue to be soccer. I would primarily choose this based off comfort, since I feel that in order to coach a sport effectively, also need to know how to understand the sport, and I have the deepest understanding of soccer. So I'd want to create a fun, strong environment with them, and I feel like I could do best with soccer. Um, so although learned many new things, a couple things that I wish I could have learned more about and touched upon further. The first one being, um, or the main one being, that I wish I could have experienced, like when players talk back or attitude, or one's not cooperating and you have that sort of issue. I'm not too sure what to do in those situations. I'm very bad. I'm very shy. I like to stand back. I'm not one of those people to like really step up and be like, hey, like deal with altercations. So I wish I had one of those situations so I could see what happens, or can see, because I know with some players they like to talk back, or they like to argue. Like I don't want to play that position and stuff like that. I want to know what to do when being stern and players have attitudes. So all in all, this is a great summative task, and I enjoyed the exposure to the coaching and the real life applications that I gained from this. And it's also one thing to learn in a classroom, but learning by doing adds a whole new dynamic, and is a great learning experience. So I found this very helpful for me, and allowed me to develop my skills in a more different way, and that's what I enjoy most.